You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. In Florida, after Republicans and Democrats went to the polls to vote on Amendment 4, the Republican legislature and the Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, essentially put in place a poll tax to keep the formerly incarcerated upwards of 1.4 million people from getting the right to vote. Well, now a judge issued a preliminary injunction against that state law that requires the payment of court fines and fees before people with felony records can regain the right to vote. U.S. District Judge Robert Hinkle issued a limited ruling Friday blocking part of SB 7066, a Florida law that requires people with felony convictions to pay all fines and fees related to their sentences before they can register to have their voting rights restored. In his ruling, Hinkle said, quote, Florida cannot deny restoration of a felon's right to vote solely because the felon does not have the financial resources necessary to pay restitution. Districts have a constitutional right to vote so long as the state's only reason for denying the vote is failure to pay an amount the plaintiff is genuinely unable to pay. The state is allowed to deny the vote to a person who has a proven ability to pay the legal debt and simply chooses not to. Avis, you first.
You know, it is amazing to see the shenanigans that happen. You know, I remember when the fight was put forth to make sure that this change occurred. It was a tremendous effort that took over 1 million people to be able to sign petitions, to be able to take, and then for people to actually show up and vote, to be able to change the direction. So, you know, it's horrible to see that the state government itself, under the Republican leadership, did everything that they could to sort of turn this around. But I'm glad to see that at the end of the day, there are still safeguards in place that will hopefully help people be able to overcome the challenges that attempted to be put in their way in order to once again disenfranchise those individuals who have already served their time and are wanting to make their way back into society, become productive citizens once again.
Julian.
You know, a lot of grassroots people worked very hard, Latasha Brown, many others, to get this ballot measure passed. Some of the people who voted for the ballot measure were Republicans. I mean, you have Republican felons too.
I lied. No. This passed by 67%. Desmond Meade and his wife Sheena Meade were leading this effort. Desmond, of course, was formerly incarcerated. It took them 10 years to get this on the ballot. Republicans voted for this. It passed by 2/3 majority, but the legislature said, the hell with the voters, we're going to still put in a new wrinkle.
And so, Roland, when you look at the legislature, basically they're morally bankrupt, but that doesn't matter. And the problem that I have with this is that this judge was a good judge, ruled, I think, correctly, but you see the courts being stacked. If this comes up 5 years from now, 7 years from now, the same issue, who's going to be the judge? 45 has been packing the courts. So first of all, right on to the people who got that amendment passed. Secondly, the legislatures in Florida need to be checked. And thirdly, we need to look at judicial appointments because all these things, all this gerrymandering, this is the last gasp of white supremacy.
Sure, Michael. Bottom line is what happened here in Florida was ridiculous. Voters, and this happens across the country, where voters have made decisions at the ballot box, and Republican legislatures have gone back to try to undo and overturn what the voters decided.
Well, look, Roland, I mean, I think this is a huge missed opportunity by Republican legislators there and also the Republican State Party of Florida. I mean, if I was advising them, here you have an amazing opportunity to target and outreach to African Americans around this issue. If you look at some recent polling from the Pew Research study, an overwhelming majority of African Americans say that they consider themselves to be either conservative, moderate, and thirdly, liberal. So that tells me that at least culturally, there are some things that I think if conservatives were smart, they could champion some ideas based upon those dispositions to African Americans. But instead, what you do is take a position where you immediately turn off every single person. And there's a famous quote that Jack Kemp said, the former Republican congressman: "It does not matter how great your ideas are if people don't feel they care about you first." And that's one of the biggest hurdles that the Republican Party continues to have.
Julian, your thoughts?
I don't think it's right. You know, I mean, people serve their time. They have a right to vote, but holding the fines over their head, you know, trying to keep them from voting, it makes the party look bad. And then, it kind of discourages people from giving the party a fair chance.
And it makes no sense whatsoever. We'll certainly keep watching this story to see exactly where it goes next, but we're hopeful folks will actually get their right to vote.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Life Luxe Jazz Experience taking place in Cabo, November 7th through the 11th. Of course, if you want to attend, go to lifeluxejazz.com, LIFELUXEJAZZ.com. But if you cannot be in Cabo for those 4 days, 14 different amazing artists, then of course you could live stream it. Get your live stream pass at gfntv.com. That's gfntv.com. As I said, amazing artists: Gerald Albright, Alice Bouillon, Kirk Whalum, Donna McClurkin, Shalia, Roy Ayers. Man, it's going to be an unbelievable 3-day extravaganza. And so look forward to you participating. And again, get your live streaming pass to cover those 3 days, all 14 concerts. You'll be able to watch right here on your phone, on your iPad, computer. Does not matter. Go to gfntv.com. That's gfntv.com to get your live stream pass. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.